Hi, good morning, guys. So a lot of people are wondering what's going on with the Highlander. You're not seeing those on the lot much anymore these days. So I'm going to shed a little light on what's going on, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, and get your reaction from it. So guys, with that being said, let's dive right in. To my right is the 2025 Highlander Limited model. This color is the heavy metal. So we're going to basically look into that vehicle, but to my left here is a BZ4X. And why do I have the BZ4X? That's what you're going to find out, my friends. So stay tuned. We're going to dive right into that. So let's go ahead and look at the 2025 Highlander and find out what's so great about this particular vehicle. So looking at the Highlander here, so the front is going to be a little bit different from the Grand Highlander. The Grand Highlander is going to have more of a sort of a flat front. This has more of a sort of curved front here. You will get your sort of spindle front grille with your LED lights. Your fog lights are going to be standard. That's something that you're going to see on the Limited model, but you also see your sensors on the front and also on the rear. That's something that you're going to get once you go to the Limited model in the Highlander. So if you want those sensors, you won't get those on the XLE, but you will start to see those in the Limited model. So looking at the hood, you have a little bit different contour in the hood compared to the Grand Highlander. The Grand Highlander is going to give you more of a sort of a flat hood right here, but the Highlander is going to give you more sort of curves here, and that sort of helps with that airflow across the vehicle. This is the Limited hybrid model, so therefore you're getting about 35 miles combined on this particular vehicle. But looking around here to the side, you do have your 20-inch wheels right here, and this is going to be a chrome look. You're only going to see this look right here on the Highlander model. You won't see this on any other model in the Highlander lineup. And the tires are going to be 235 55 20s. So you're going to see that. So nice sort of beefy tire. And in 25, all your hybrid models went to an all-wheel drive. Previous to that year, you had a front-wheel drive option and you had an all-wheel drive option. But like I said, in 25, they went to an all-wheel drive option. So because it's all-wheel drive, most of your all-wheel drives that I've seen before do have your mud guards here. So you're going to have those on the front, and you see those on the rear as well. So color key mirrors here, be the same color as the car. Integrated turn signals. This particular model does have the panoramic view monitor option. That is strictly an option, guys. That is not standard. It's only standard once you go to the Platinum model. But you do have your blind spot monitoring. That's going to be standard on all great models. So you'll see that. You have your color key door handle here, and you have your auto lock and unlock only on the front. You won't see that on the rear as well, only on the front. So regular 87. As we make our way around here to the back, so your lights, as they curve around to the back here, sort of wraps around the vehicle. So those are going to be LEDs on the front and the rear. And there's your Highlander badging. So this one has the rear sort of chrome applique here. It sort of protects. So if you're sliding things in and out, that sort of protects this area here, protects from any scratching or anything like that. And as I mentioned before, you do have your sensors on the front and on the back. So that's your parking sensors. It's going to help with your sort of safety braking as well if you're backing up. And as I mentioned before, this is a hybrid electric vehicle, which brings me to my next point. The reason you're seeing Highlanders, not many Highlanders on the lot, is because there's rumors that this HEV may be changing to a BEV, which is a battery electric vehicle, guys. I'm not sure how you guys feel about that, but I'm not sure if the market is even ready for that or if you're ready for that. But your battery electric vehicle will require no gas. It'll be strictly a plug-in. And currently, your BZ4X is the only current model right now that's on ground that has the battery electric vehicle. So if you look around here to the front on the BZ4X, you have your charging port right here. So this particular model allows you to use a Class 1, a Class 2, and a Class 3, okay? So your Class 3 is typically going to have this design here. Now on your newer models, we do have models incoming that are actually going to be joining the BZ4X, okay? So the BZ will actually no longer be known as the BZ4X, just BZ, we're dropping the 4X, but you're going to be getting the EHR, which is going to be a battery electric vehicle, so that's rejoining the Toyota lineup. This is the XLE model. So this front wheel drive will get you roughly about 250 miles in your range, okay? So to the charge. So other than that, guys, if you're not ready for that, then you may want to go with a plug-in, and you're going to see that in the Prius. You're going to see that in the RAV4s. The new 2026 will offer 4 different sort of models in the plug-in hybrid, okay? So PHEV, so plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. But as I mentioned before, we're going to jump back to the Highlander. This model could come out in a battery electric vehicle. But look around the side right here. You do have your aero fans that's going to help with your airflow around the car. So checking out the passenger side here. Not sure if you guys noticed it or not, but as soon as I open this up, look what happens to the mirrors. So power folding mirrors. So anytime you open that up, they unfold. So you're going to have your gloss right here on the door right here, which is very nice. I wish they had that on the Grand Highlander. It's a very nice look here. So you're going to see that on the Limited model. So you have your soft touch material here, your window controls here, your door locks. So you have your badging right here, your Highlander badging, okay? So you will have a power seat on the passenger side on the Limited model, okay? Plenty of airbags. So you have your airbags on the seats, you have knee airbags, you have airbags here. You're also going to have airbag in the traditional spot on the steering wheel, and also knee airbags, and also curtain airbags on the A-pillars here. Now, as you can see right here, you will see that you have the speakers there on the A-pillar as well. That's something you're going to see on the Limited model. And you're going to get a 12.3-inch display here with your volume control and your power control here. Just like your other Toyota models, your Highlander does have your wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on this 12.3-inch display. Now, all your Highlanders, including the Highlander and the Grand Highlander, will have 3 zones. So that's your driver, your passenger, and that's going to be the rear. You have your off button, you have your front defrost, rear defrost and side mirrors here, okay? You have your defrost for your windshield wiper in the back. That's how you turn on your 3rd zone. This is going to be your smart flow, so it's going to shut off those zones if they're not being occupied. This rear climate here will allow you to actually not only control the temperature, but you'll be able to control the direction and also the fan speed. So you have your traditional hazard lights there, and you have your heated seats and your ventilated seats in the Limited as well. That's something that you're not going to see on the XLE model. You have to go to the Limited to get that. But you do have a push button start. That's something that you're going to see on all your models. So no key anymore. So traditional shifter there, and you will have your wireless charger right up here. So there's a wireless charger there. So long as you have an iPhone 8 or a Galaxy S8 and above, that will charge. Now that's based on your case. You may have to remove it from that case to actually get it to charge. Some cases will charge, some won't. This is going to be this is going to be a direct hotspot for your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and then you have your USB-Cs there for your charging, okay? And then you have a 12-volt right here. Now, looking down a little bit further, you have your different transmission modes here. So you have your normal, your eco, and your sport. Now, if you're going on a longer distance, then your eco probably is going to be your best option here. That's going to optimize your gas mileage. Sort of cuts back on the throttle just a tad bit to optimize your gas mileage. Your normal is going to be an automatic selection as to what's best for the vehicle based on the traffic patterns. And then your sport is going to open up your valves there and produce horsepower quicker and faster by allowing that airflow through the system to produce that horsepower. Electronic parking brakes, that's something we're seeing on a lot of Toyotas, right? On most of your Toyotas today. You have your hold button here. So your hold button, that's going to help you with your with your brakes there, so you can take your foot off the brakes here. So maybe you're stuck in traffic or something like that. You really want to stretch your legs. That allows you to take your foot off the brakes here. So that's a really nice feature, guys. So this here is going to be your traction control. That's part of your ABS brake system, right? Your star safety system. So it helps you if those wheels slip. Then it's going to bring it back into sync with the tire that's spinning at normal speed. You have an EV mode because this is a hybrid, right? So this allows you to engage up to about 25 miles per hour if you have sufficient charge. And you'll find that under your energy monitor and your MID screen here. So you'll see that. And your trail mode right here, that's something that you're seeing on your hybrid models, with the exception of like the upper models. You won't see that in your upper models like your hybrid maxes and stuff like that. So those are your bigger sort of hybrid engines. But this right here is going to help with dynamic torque vectoring. So if the wheel slips, it transfers. So most of those things are like automatic, like you're going to see like in your Sequoias, your Land Cruisers, things like that. That'll be an automatic slip differential, stuff like that, okay? So plenty of room right here in the console, okay? So plenty of room down there for storage. You even have this little tray here that you can put there, and that's going to help you sort of put change or anything like that you might want to put in there, and it's easy to reach. But let's make our way around to the driver's side, guys. And also, while I'm thinking about it right here, check this out right here. So little tray right there for little nicks and knacks, maybe some keys or something like that, change. But good idea, guys. Keep in mind, anytime you get out of your car, don't leave anything in there, because that instigates people and promotes people to perhaps break into your vehicle. So you don't want to do that. So, but it's a great place for change and stuff like that. So making our way around to the driver's side, what are we gonna see? So we're gonna see a 8-way adjustable here. So 6 ways here. You got your 2-way lumbar here for your back support in and out, right? You're gonna have your memory seats. So you have your memory seats. So if you have 2 drivers there, that's nice and easy for them. So seeing that same sort of gloss sort of trimming there, which is nice. So window controls, door locks, window locks. That's gonna lock the windows, right? For the passenger in the back, so the kids can't play with the windows. And you have automatic folding mirrors, as I mentioned before. So this right here, so that you keep your windows out. So if you don't want those windows to fold, you can fold those, sort of press this right here, that'll fold if you want those to fold on demand. And then the even right here, or the A right there, is automatic. So when you lock your vehicle, the windows will fold. And then you have your adjustment for the side mirrors right here where you can adjust those. So here, so you do have your Toyota safety sense on this vehicle as well. So you have your automatic high beam lights. You have your AC adapter, which I'll show you in the back here shortly. So that's going to be an inverter back there on the back. Typically it's on the right-hand side. This does have a power back door here. So that's how you can open that power back door. And then you have your heated steering wheel there. It's going to heat up at 9 and 3. So change compartment, that's something that you're not seeing on a lot of vehicles. That's a hidden jewel, right? So that's where you're going to find your gas door release, and your hood release is going to be here. And for this model, just like a lot of other Toyota models, we have our all-weather mats here. It's just a nicer look. It fits there. So it doesn't allow dirt to get underneath here, and it's nice and easy to clean up. So if you have any spills or anything like that. But you do have your fog lights right here where you can flip those on and off. And you have your automatic high beam lights. So don't press it forward, leave it in the setting here, and it automatically raises and lower as you come across headlights, tail lights, and lamp lights. Now, you do have a manual adjustment for the steering wheel, so no power adjustment. Perhaps in the future you might see that. So therefore, you can use that in collaboration with the with your memory seats, and it will adjust the steering wheel as well. So that would be nice. But looking at the steering wheel, so very traditional to the Toyotas right now. So that's your back button. So that's your Bluetooth. This is the navigation of the MID screen. Okay, so a lot of familiar functions on that. You have your volume control, and you also have your voice command here. So your voice command actually allows you to you can tune the radio. Okay, you can change the AC, you can change the temperature controls. Not on all Toyota models, but a lot of them do that. Okay, on the right hand side, that's where you're going to see your adaptive cruise control options. So press this once or twice to go between your adaptive and your constant. So on one the vehicle brakes, and on the other one you press the brakes. That's the only time that vehicle stops. You have your distance between you and another car. Okay, you have your lane departure that activates at about 32 miles per hour, and that gives you a little nudge of the steering wheel. If you don't necessarily like that, you can turn that off. That's called your steering assist. Okay, now it would be nice on a lot of Toyota models, you're not seeing this on the steering wheel. It's actually inside of this MID screen here, but I think it needs to be on the outside. So therefore, if you don't like that, it's a little bit easier for you to turn that on and off. A lot of people don't necessarily like that because it nudges the steering wheel, especially when you're driving on the highway. So you have your resume, or you can go up 1 mile per hour at a time, or down 1 mile per hour at a time, or you can just cancel altogether. You have your mode button, so 2 different functions, right? Press it and hold it to mute or pause. Press it and hold it to unpause. Okay, press it once to jump between your AM, FM, XM, and that is complimentary for 90 days. Here, left and right, you're going to go between your different presets. This one, you should have 6 presets. You might have as many as 8, because I've seen 8 on these 12.3s, but it varies on the configuration of the display. But guys, let's check out the back. Before we check out the back, actually, let's look at the mirror here. So we have an automatic dimming mirror with your home link. So you have 3 devices that you can sync, right? Up in the top here, you have you have a regular roof here. You don't have a panel roof or anything like that, but you do have your light controls here for the left and right, driver and passenger. You have your lights, so if you want the doors, the lights to come on with the door, and you have your all on, and your safety connect is something we're seeing on all Toyota models. So that helps you with your with medical emergencies. If the airbag's deployed, it automatically calls out to local authorities. So you're seeing that as well. Plenty of speakers across the vehicle that you're seeing. So therefore, you don't have to yell or anything like that. So if you're on the phone, you can actually hear clearly, and you can speak clearly, because it's basically just a nice clear sort of signal there, nice clear reception. So you have your moonroof. So your moonroof is standard. And let's make our way to the second row. Now, in this particular model, unlike the limited Grand Highlander, you can only, on the hybrids, you can only get a captain's chair. You cannot get a bench on this model. So they changed up the narrative on the Grand Highlander. On the limited model, you can get a bench. And thank you for the follow that actually advise me of that because that's usually not the case. But you can only get a captain's chair, as I mentioned here. So you have 2 cup holders. So you got your armrest in the second row, right? So you got your anchors, your tethers on the back side of the seats. And if you want to collapse those and slide those up, you can. So there's your tethers. So third row is standard. You can fold that down or not. This particular model does have your liner in the back. So it basically just, we basically had that. It comes all the way up to the seats here, which looks nicer. Okay, and it's nice and uniform. We'll make our way back there shortly. But on the sides right here, what I really like is that you have these shades here. So you can pull those down or pull those up and lock those in place. And those help out with whether or not it's teenage kids, even adults, that helps keep that sun out of the eyes. So it's real nice to have. Right here, so you got your child safety lock, so make sure those are in the up position. Anything in the down position, passengers cannot get in and out. So that's for small kids and just for people that you don't like. So I'm just kidding, guys, just playing. But anyway, so you do have your pockets on the back side of both seats, which is nice. You do have your third zone, as I mentioned before. This covers your second and your third zone, so you don't have a third zone that's separate. Your second and your third zone is your third zone. So you have your fan speed, you have your off button, your direction, your automatic, and your fan, your temperature control. Now looking down a little bit further, you do have a AC plug-in, a 1500 watt sort of AC plug there, and you have some USBs there. It's got some vents here also that I needed to cover. So vents here in the roof here, which is nice. Those are usually on the sides in the Grand Highlander, right? But a little bit different design, so they're right there in the roof. And you got your light controls right there, and you have some in the back. That's kind of more similar to the Grand Highlander, where you're going to see those in the Grand Highlander, but these are in the roof here. So you might want to angle those down. Maybe you don't like those because it's angled more towards your face there. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But let's check out the back and see what we're going to see in the rear. Power gate, as I mentioned before. This one does have the liner right here. So as your JBL speaker here, it's going to be a 11 speaker JBL system. There's your inverter. So this one is, they're usually on the right, but this one is on the left here. So 1500 watt AC inverter here. You have a roadside sort of kit there. So I'd love to look at that and see exactly what's in there, but it's a roadside assistance kit. So there's your tethers there on the back side of the seats. You have some cup holders for the third row, so you have that. Something I don't see that you're seeing in the Grand Highlander, I don't see any chargers back here. So it would be nice to have some USB-Cs back here in the back or something like that for your people in your third row, maybe kids in your third row. And you have your spots for your privacy cover also, okay? Now this right here, you're seeing the clips. So this is something you see in most of your third rows here on the Grand Highlander. You have these little clips right here, and these clips are strictly for the seat belts, where you can keep those out of the way. So it keeps them out of the way here. So let's look underneath and see what we might see underneath here. So we got a front bracket plate, we got some cargo netting. Yep, there we go. There's your privacy cover right there, guys. So if you want to take that out, you can. And like I said, that's going to basically just fit right in here. It's going to fit right in there, okay? So you see that right in there. And this is also height adjustable, okay? So if you want to adjust the height of it, just drop it down, stop it, press and hold it for about 3 seconds, and there's your set, okay? If you want to reset it, press and hold it, wait till about 7 to 8 seconds, you're going to hear 2 beeps, and that's going to reset it. There you go, there's your reset. Go all the way up. And let's see if we're going to have a kick sensor on this vehicle. Let's see. Yep, but it didn't activate. Why didn't it activate? So these sensors right here, it's going to register that we're right there at the vehicle. So it's just waiting for us to step back, guys. So one step back. There we go. So you got to make sure you step back. If you don't step back, it's just going to beep once, and it's not going to do much of anything else. Also, looking at the back of the Highlander here, you can get a towing hitch, but it is not standard, and it will tow up to about 3,500 pounds in the hybrid model. Your gas model is going to tow 5,000 pounds, and that is a class 4 rated hitch. Guys, I just wanted to give you a quick sort of walk around of the Highlander. Since I haven't done that before, we're going to get a quick profile of the Highlander. And as I mentioned before, this is a limited model, and this is going to be in the heavy metal. So really good looking vehicle, but you don't see a lot of them, and that is why, guys. So they're starting to cut back on production on the Highlanders, and they're really pushing the Grand Highlander as a more of a family vehicle, which this is a family vehicle as well. But they use the parts from the Highlander for the Grand Highlander. So that's why you're not seeing a lot of them. And it's rumors that it's going to a BEV. Okay? Not sure how you guys feel about that, but let's see how that works out. So looking under the hood of the limited hybrid Highlander, you're going to find a 2.5 liter engine here. And as I mentioned before, guys, this is a hybrid indicated by your high voltage line there. So you're not going to see a battery, but when you jump, you're going to want to basically pull this up right here, just like your other models here. You're going to pull this up right here, and that's where you're going to find your jump right under there where you're going to jump at. And you're going to get about 243 net horsepower combined out of this vehicle here. And it is a on-demand, all-wheel drive on-demand. That means it only transfers to the back if you need extra traction and engages all four wheels. Otherwise, it's traditionally operating as a front-wheel drive vehicle after that initial sort of acceleration from standstill. Now, looking at under the hood right here, you do have your sound dampening material that keeps the noise inside the engine bay and out of the cabin of the vehicle, hence keeping that vehicle nice and quiet. So thanks for joining me in reviewing the 2025 Hybrid Limited Highlander and basically finding out why you're really not seeing a lot of those vehicles on the lot. What do you guys feel about the Highlander becoming a battery electric vehicle? Do you think it's something that you might want to possibly invest in? Are you excited about it, or are you sort of worried about it? I don't know if it's a good move or not, because the Highlander is such a popular vehicle, but they are pushing the Grand Highlander, which is a larger vehicle. It's going to give you more room in the rear and also in the third row. So maybe that's a vehicle that you might consider. And they do offer that in a hybrid version and a gas version. But thank you guys for joining me. If you have any questions, any concerns, make sure you leave those in the comments. We'll see you next time right here under Your Drives. Find me right here on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And we'll see you next time right here.